Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today NEXM just filed an 8K and I am seeing something interesting in their drilling results. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company released early drill results from a project in Botswana, and it seems like they are confident about what they are finding. This is what we call a current report or an 8K filing. Companies use these to announce big news that shareholders should know about right away, and in this case, NexMetals Mining Corp is reporting on some early visual results from their drilling program. So, what does this mean for NexMetals Mining Corp? They are currently running a pretty extensive drilling program, over 30,000 meters, which is quite a bit of drilling. They are specifically looking at an area they've named the Flexure Zone at their Celebi main deposit in Botswana. Mining companies drill to find out if there are valuable minerals in the ground and how much of it is there. Now, they are talking about mineral resources, which is a technical term in the mining world. It is important to understand that these terms, like indicated mineral resources and inferred mineral resources, are defined by Canadian rules called NI 43 to 101. These are specific ways of describing how confident a company is about finding minerals and whether they can be mined economically. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, also has its own rules for this called S-K 1300. The good news is that the new SEC rules are more in line with the Canadian rules, and NexMetals Mining Corp follows both because they're a Canadian company that also reports to the CC. But here is a key point. The way they classify resources under Canadian rules might not be exactly the same as how they'd be classified under the SEC rules. This means that even if they report a certain amount of indicated or inferred resources, it is not a guarantee that these will be recognized the same way by the SEC or that they'll be economically profitable to mine. It is really important for investors to understand this. Just because they mention indicated or inferred resources doesn't mean they are guaranteed to become actual mineable reserves. There is a big difference between finding something and being able to profitably pull it out of the ground. Think of it this way. Reserves are like proven gold bars in a vault. They are there and you can get them easily. Indicated and inferred resources are more like knowing there is a strong possibility of gold in a certain valley, but you haven't dug it all up to count exactly how much is there or if it is easy to get to. So you can't just assume that these resources will ever be profitable to mine or even legally allowed to be mined. There is a lot of uncertainty involved with these earlier stage classifications, and with inferred resources, that uncertainty is even higher. It is like a rumor of gold in the valley, and you are not even sure if it is really there or if you can even start digging. Under Canadian rules, you can't really use inferred resources to build a business case or plan an entire mine or project unless there are very specific exceptions. This highlights that while these are positive early signs, they are far from a guarantee of future success. This filing is essentially pointing to a press release that contains the details of the drill results. The company is saying this information is being furnished, meaning it is being provided to the SEC, but it is not technically filed in the same way as a full financial report. This is a common practice for this type of disclosure. So the main takeaway here is that NexMetals Corp is putting out some encouraging early signs from its drilling in Botswana. They are using specific terminology that investors need to be aware of, understanding the difference between potential resources and actual reserves. The filing is signed by Brett McKay, the Chief Financial Officer. This tells us that the company's financial leadership is overseeing this disclosure. Looking at the broader picture, NexMetals Mining Corp is a small cap company in the basic materials sector, specifically in other industrial metals and mining. Their market cap is around $94 million and their stock has been trading in the range of about $2 to $10 over the last year. Some recent news includes insider buying, which is often seen as a positive sign, and shareholder approval of an incentive plan. They also had their annual general meeting where shareholders voted on important company matters. Now, while this filing doesn't contain detailed financial tables like a quarterly or annual report, the information about the drilling results is crucial for a mining company. What they are finding underground directly impacts their future. The very fact they are releasing visual drill results suggests they are seeing something worth reporting, even if it is early stage. The cautionary language they use about resource classifications is standard practice to avoid misleading investors. What I am really watching for with companies like NexMetals is how these early visual results translate into more concrete data. Will these indicated and inferred resources start to firm up into something that can be considered a proven reserve? This is where the real value is created in mining. The market will be looking for follow-up announcements that provide more detailed assay results and potentially update resource estimates under the SK 1300 guidelines. The risk here, as with any junior mining company, is that the exploration doesn't yield economically viable deposits. This is a very high-risk, high-reward sector. Companies like this that are exploring in new areas, especially in jurisdictions like Botswana, face geological uncertainty, political risk, and commodity price fluctuations. However, if this Flexure Zone proves to be significant, it could be a major catalyst for the company. The research tools I use daily are linked in the description below if you are interested. That is my take. Stay decoded. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Join our Discord community too. It is linked in the description.